Hello everyone, I'm Greg Weaver. Welcome to the Audio Analyst. Pardon me. "2021 has been a monumental year, for me individually, as well as for well-heeled music lovers and audiophiles the world over. First, KRONOS Audio's Louis Desjardins completely reset the performance paradigm for LP playback with the introduction of his absolutely game-changing new turntable, the remarkable KRONOS Discovery. I had a video chat with Louis back in March of this year, nearly 5 months before Discovery was unveiled to the public, which set the stage for what would turn out to mark the most significant turntable to be brought to the music-loving world in my lifetime. Now, those who haven't had the Discovery experience may simply assume that my assertion is nothing more than excited exaggeration and hyperbole. Rest assured, it is not. In fact, though I was privileged to be the first journalist to hear and relate the tale of Discovery with the audio world at large, every subsequent reviewer, journalist, or lucky new owner has expressed the same opinion in their own words, specifically that Discovery simply defies comparison and manifestly constitutes a class unto itself. Look, until you are able to hear it yourself, go look at the reviews, my own here on the channel, or at Positive Feedback, where my voice is joined by others, like Dr. David W. Robinson and Maurice Jeffries, or the review by Alan Sircom, editor-in-chief of the Absolute Sounds British magazine HiFi Plus. In fact, HiFi Plus has awarded the Discovery their Innovation of the Year award. And while it is clearly deserving of such an honor, it is also just as clearly deserving of much more. It represents the single most remarkable source component introduced in my 50-plus years in and around this industry. It's remarkable. What Louis Desjardins has achieved with the Discovery, leveraging applied material sciences, different isolation and stabilization methods, innovations to the motors, controls, motion feedback, and monitoring systems, as well as the enhancements in bearing strategy, application of materials, including a distinctly reimagined tone arm approach. With its restructured pivot and geometrical alignment schema, it represents a wholesale advance, establishing a new standard for the recovery of information from the long-playing record. The KRONOS Discovery is without question the finest single audio source I have ever had the pleasure of hearing, one that, in my opinion, has ushered in a new level of musical experience and communication, establishing an innovative, high-water benchmark for LP playback. It presents an entirely fresh and previously unattainable level of musical experience, a new pinnacle of expressiveness and communication, one so articulate, so informative, so inspiring, that it must be seen as more than merely revelatory. Its resultant performance is transformative. In my experience, it has established a new point of reference that may go unchallenged for some time. In fact, establishing an entirely new benchmark, and by an exceptional margin. It is the very definition of the term sui generis. Now, if you get a chance to hear this remarkable machine in a private demonstration, at a show, wherever, whenever, I urge you to go out of your way to hear it for yourself and to hear why every other LP playback system will be trying to play catch-up for the foreseeable future. Second, this year marked the return to some semblance of normalcy for the audio community, as we saw the resurgence of the audio show after being shut down by the realities of what a global pandemic imposes upon the real world. In particular, the travel lockdowns and the need to avoid congregating in numbers. But with this past November's Capitol Audiofest, organizer and owner Gary Gill led the triumphant return from our self-imposed isolation and abstinence. All of us, Gary included, were wondering if we were ready. Would our stalwart community of music-loving audiophiles, manufacturers, and dealers be ready to connect and congregate as a community once again in celebration of music, gear, and camaraderie? To say that the 2021 Capitol Audiofest was successful would be more than just a gross understatement. The overwhelming attendance for this event verified that we all had been so desperately awaiting this opportunity to come together, to reconvene and commune, to acknowledge our passion for and love of music, and to be able to celebrate that with other like-minded music lovers after nearly 2 years of restraint. It turned out that as a community, we were more than ready. The crowds were not only bigger than hoped for, but everyone was thrilled to be able to meet and greet friends and colleagues and to get to hear some of the marvelous toys for the first time since the lockdown, including many new product introductions and first-time vendors. You know, for the past 2 years, my last show had been the 2019 Capitol Audiofest. I'd been dying to get back to the audio environment with shows, just to be able to see all my dear friends and colleagues. I don't have the words to express how wonderful it was to be able to actually have face-to-face connections and conversations again with so many people whose company and conversation I really enjoy and that I typically only get to see during the annual show cycle. People like David Solomon of Cobuzz, Kevin and Darlene Hayes of VAC, Damon Von Schweikert and Leif Swanson of Von Schweikert Audio, Keith Sequeira, Gordon Waters, and Jim Cumpe of The Audio Company, Gail Sanders of Icon Audio, Ozan Turan, High End by Oz, Matt and Harry Weisfeld of VPI, Jeffrey Smith of Silversmith Audio, Sergei Timochev of Stealth Audio, Michael Vamos of Audio Skies, Doug White of The Voice That Is, Fred Ainsley of Lampezator North America, Lou Hinckley of Daedalus Audio. The list just goes on and on and on. There were so many people I just missed. It was great to get to see them all. Looking forward into 2022, I'm pleased to tell you that I'm already booked for the first 2 audio shows of the coming year. The first ever AudioCon LA will be held January 14th through 16th at the stately Hyatt Regency in Newport Beach, California. Bob Levy and the Los Angeles and Orange County Audio Society are sponsoring this inaugural show, and I am honored to have been asked to take part in the cutting of the ceremonial blue ribbon to open the event. Watch for my written report and enjoy the music, and hopefully, if all goes well, for a few room tours here on the channel. Next up, the annual Florida Audio Expo will be held at the Embassy Suites by Hilton in Tampa, Florida, February 18th through the 20th. I have never been to this show, but from all reports, it is both a growing and enjoyable event, one that I am very much looking forward to. And let's face it, what's not to like about heading to the middle of Florida's Gulf Coast in February? Now, in the loss column for 2021, longtime audio bud and a remarkable product manufacturer, Dusty Vaughter, has announced that he is closing his business, Channel Islands Audio, after 25 years. Now, I've known of Dusty since his days with Audio Alchemy, which had its start back in the late 1980s. But it was in the mid-1990s that we first had any real interactions. When Audio Alchemy closed its doors, Dusty started CI Audio, launching the endeavor by offering component modifications to the existing, already overachieving Alchemy products. The first review I did of any of his work was on the Audio Alchemy DDE V3.0 upgrade, powered by the Monolithic Sound Master Power Supply back in 1997 for Soundstage. Now, since that time, I've reviewed probably a dozen Channel Islands audio pieces, the last of which was his remarkable little phonostage, the PEQ-1 Mark II, which I did for the Absolute Sound in the summer of 2018. And honestly, I still have a bunch of his gear that I use routinely, including his D500 Mark II monoblocks, the remarkable single gain device VMB1 monoblocks, the PLC1 Mark II remote passive line stage, the Transient Mark II DAC powered by the VDC5 Mark II high current power supply, and several other of his external power supplies and products. Many may not be aware that the remarkable 1 kilowatt plate amplifiers that power the frequency, amplitude, and phase adjustable 15-inch one-piece Nomex honeycomb cone subwoofers in my von Schweikert Audio Ultra 9 loudspeakers, as well as those of the Ultra 11s, are custom built by Dusty. But the hallmark of every product to ever bear his badge is exceptional design, high quality of construction, and amazing performance. Channel Island's audio gear simply embodied value, and every product was made right here in the USA. Now, Dusty will be retiring to Maui, so while I'm sorry to be saying goodbye to such an amazing American audio brand, I'm only too happy to see that he will be spending time in such an amazing and idyllic location. Hi, baby girl. Good morning. Hi, babe. Dusty, take care and enjoy your time in Hawaii, my friend. You've clearly earned it. Finally, a transition has occurred that makes this a singular year for yours truly. After 4.5 years as the manager of IT/IS services for the 140,000 square foot Valeo manufacturing plant in Elkhart, Indiana, I've retired from the IT world. Now, Valeo is a French-based global automotive manufacturer supplying a wide range of products to automakers and the aftermarket, with over 120,000 employees across 39 countries, with 186 production plants, 59 R&D centers, and 15 distribution platforms, generating over $20 billion in annual sales. As you may well imagine, it was a challenging and demanding role. But just after Thanksgiving this year, I've completely stepped away from the IT world and full-time employment, turning my attention and focus to my passions, music and audio. Now I'll be free to devote my time and energies to building the audio analyst into my full-time vocation. I expect to be writing more for both Enjoy the Music and Positive Feedback, as well as developing a platform for written works, both by myself and some other similarly minded journalists who would like to join my efforts, at my webpage, theaudioanalyst.com. This would not have been possible without the support and encouragement of all my industry colleagues and friends, and from loyal viewers like you. I am so grateful. Thank you. I'm also planning to add a new 6th category to my existing 5, which currently include interviews, instructional, commentary, hardware reviews, and Guilty Treasure episodes. I expect to add the category Heavy Rotation sometime soon. Now, I'll use this new category to cover a handful of albums, anywhere from, say, 3 to 5 releases per episode, that, while perhaps not quite as in-depth as the Guilty Treasure treatments, will still give you a taste of why the albums under discussion are worth your time, and which pressing or pressings to be on the hunt for. As always, thanks for taking the time to drop by and visit today. I hope you've subscribed and that you are liking and sharing links to your favorite episodes with your friends and on social media. I love hearing from you, so be sure to post your comments and questions. Information on supporting the channel may be found in today's description section or at my website, theaudioanalyst.com. Everyone, please stay safe and keep the music playing. Till next time, cheers.